Hey, it's Rui and I'm making a cozy cafe sim inspired by Korean study cafes. I started learning game dev only a few months ago, so I'm bad at it. How am I supposed to do now? But I decided that I'm gonna try my hand at releasing a game anyways because I want to get good. And when it comes to learning and improving, nothing motivates me more than the idea of putting something out there for real people to see and enjoy and potentially just completely shit on the internet. This episode is an especially exciting one for me because it documents the process of me hitting my first milestone for my game, which is completing a functional game loop. Basically a very crude but working version of the game that I can actually play through. This time I also cover like double the time span that I usually cover in past episodes, and I learn how to make some of the most complicated game dev things that I've made so far. So I hope you enjoy it. I am building my first traditional inventory system. A good thing is that there are plenty of resources out there that help you learn how to make something like this because inventory systems are just so common and pretty fundamental when it comes to video games. But I do already have an idea for how I think I can make something like this. So I want to try making this on my own. And if I get stuck or I think I can improve some parts of it, I'll go and look at what's out there. I have chosen my guinea pig, the first object that I will try adding and deleting from my world, which is, drumroll please, coffee machine. I choose you. Furniture is such a long word. As I started to get deeper into working on the edit cafe flow, it slowly dawned on me that I'm probably gonna have to learn how to implement something that I had been avoiding for a while. Okay, wow. So I think I'm gonna have to implement saving and loading. Oh God. All right, back to the drawing board. What is the information that we want to save? The idea of building a save and load system just kind of intimidated me for some reason, but I also knew that I would have to learn it at some point. And at this point, while working on the edit cafe flow, I really wanted to add the functionality for a player to revert changes that they make to their cafe. And for that, I needed to build a save and load system. So it was finally time. Now I'm wondering if I need to like loop through each piece of furniture in a cafe and save all of this information, or if there's a way to just like create a snapshot in a way of the state of the cafe. Lucky for me, or at least that's what I thought in that moment, I did come across this video sharing a simpler way of saving scenes in Godot. The comments did warn that it only really works for super simple scenes, but I was hoping that it would work for my case, and it didn't. So I add the coffee machine, and I have set the position to 000, which makes it so that it's like half buried into the ground, as you can see. But now if I revert changes, so let's say I remove the coffee machine, I'm like, oh no, I want to go back to the save where I had it. I click revert, and that's weird. The coffee machine is back, which is good, but now it's a little bit higher up off the ground, which is not good because it means that I failed to save its position. At this point, I finally accepted that I'm just gonna have to suck it up and learn how to build a save and load system for real. And it turns out that there are several ways to go about doing this. And after watching this very useful video on saving and loading in Godot, I decided to go with a method that uses resources, which is a Godot thing. Disclaimer, later in the video, I do end up switching to a different method that doesn't use this resources because, in short, there are some security concerns involved with using resources for save files. And after doing a bit more research, I decided that I am not really a fan of the proposed workarounds. And will you look at that? Works like a charm. The saving works as well. Yippee! Success! Today we're continuing to build out the editing the cafe part of my game. As of yesterday, we can successfully add things from our inventory into the cafe and also do the reverse. Get something that's in the cafe and store it into our inventory. And now today, the goal is to make it so that we can actually move furniture around and place it where we want in the cafe. And in order to do that, I want to implement a grid system, for which I've been referencing this YouTube tutorial. So this tutorial is for like visualizing the grid, which is something I'll need. And then on top of that, I'll be making some kind of system so I can tell when a square in the grid is taken or not. Y'all, I'm excited to implement this. If I can get this to work, I'll be very happy. Okay, this is gonna be quite complicated. I'll keep this on the side. Okay, first of all, let me make this inventory panel a little bit slimmer so it doesn't cover so much of the cafe while I'm trying to edit it. You guys ever think about how edited it sounds so weird? Like edited it, edited it, edited it. You know what? That does the job for now. To make my grid system, I started by following that tutorial I mentioned earlier, which also taught me how to make my first little bit of custom tooling. So I can change the dimensions of the grid directly in the editor, which is pretty cool. At first it was showing up double stacked, but once I added in the code that clears the grid before I update it and create a new one, that was a problem no longer. Once I got that working, I spent a very long time adapting the grid code to add in all that functionality that I had scribbled earlier, and kind of losing my mind in the process. Y'all, I could cry right now. It works. I spent so long trying to get it to work. Oh my god. It's the best thing I ever made in my life, in my entire history of existence in this universe and all timelines. Okay, it's probably time to go to sleep. So here's what I got done so far for my editing the cafe flow. Wow. When you're placing the furniture, it highlights the available squares. I know that it also highlights this square where there's something on it, but that's just because I haven't told the game yet that this is furniture and it's taking up this square. I made the furniture shrink when you're holding it just so you can see the square behind it a bit more easily. Otherwise it would be covering the whole square and you can't see it highlight. I'm pretty happy with it. And then look what happens when I put a coffee machine. I have it so that coffee machines can only be put on surfaces, like on counters. So the floors don't light up, only the counter. And then look what happens when I hold the counter now. The coffee machine moves with it. Isn't that cool? And now look what happens when I place it in the inventory. They both get added into the inventory. It's like magic. It's amazing. It's the legitest thing I've ever made. Obviously everything like the shapes, the colors, the font is all placeholder right now, so it's a little bit ugly, but I feel like the mechanic works pretty well. Feels pretty smooth. Yeah. After thinking it through, these are the next few tasks that I decided to work on. In terms of things related to moving and placing furniture, I want to add in support for some basic things like rotating the furniture to face the way that you want it to, supporting furniture that spans multiple squares, such as my chair and table sets. Those are a 2x1 kind of block, so providing support for that. Also right now I reset the furniture in the cafe between days. I do like it resetting between sessions, so like if you close out of the game and reopen it, the cafe is reset. It's just convenient right now for testing purposes, but I do want to save the furniture between days. And before getting to that stuff, I want to take a moment to add in the flow for setting the cafe's menu for the day. I kind of wanted a break from thinking so specifically about the furniture, which is why I'll be working on the menu stuff first. As for the setting the cafe menu functionality, it was pretty straightforward because I'd basically learned everything I needed for adding, removing, and saving things in an inventory system like this from making my furniture inventory. Except with this, there's just a little bit more UI and buttons to handle. Alright, here's what I've got. You can see what I have on the menu up here on the top left. Click Edit Menu. Here you'll see all the recipes that you've unlocked. Right now I just have one recipe. You can toggle this button to put it on the menu or remove it. So I just removed it, and if I click Save, you can see that the menu updated, so it's empty. Of course, it's a problem if the menu is empty, so when I'm finishing up this flow, I would throw some kind of error telling the player to add something to the menu in order to proceed. But for now, I just wanted to get this working. It's gonna feel so good once I get to doing a UI sweep because this is really ugly. So now the player can edit the cafe's menu, which is great, but it actually doesn't do anything yet because I've hard-coded the menu for the day. So the next thing for me to do is actually load the menu that the player set when they start the day. I put something together already. I have this load save function that I wrote, and now I need to test that this works. But in order for me to test it, I think I'm gonna have to add another menu item. Because as you may know, I only have one recipe in the game right now, which is the Americano. It's a little hard to test if the menu changed when I really don't have any other menu options. So it's time to unveil a new recipe, which will be, what should it be? The latte. While the Americano in my game as of right now is a cold drink that is served in a glass, I wanted the latte to be a hot drink. Therefore, I needed to add a separate mug dispenser of sorts. I thought I was being super clever by making this templates resource where I was storing a bunch of preloaded scenes, which I could then easily pull from other parts of the code. But later on, this templates file ended up being the bane of my existence. I also, of course, had to make the mug itself that is dispensed from the mug dispenser. And once I felt like I got something roughly set up, it was time to test it out. Why can't I grab a mug from it? Let's put a print statement here. Okay, let's see what prints. Nothing. Nothing at all. Oh, let's try this again. Okay, something else broke. Oh, I see. Attempt number 3. Okay, something new broke. Attempt number 4. It let me save, but it also got rid of my coffee machine. Oh. Oh, what's going on? It's the latte of darkness for some reason. All right, we took quite a few detours to fix things that broke along the way, but the whole point was to check that editing the menu works. So let's remove latte, and if I save like so and start the day, hopefully the customers will know that the menu has updated and only order Americanos, which seems to work. Yay. And then let's go back and try with lattes. This time, save, start the day. Now they should only order lattes, except I forgot to add a coffee machine so I can't serve them, but yeah, I can check that they ask for lattes. Cool. And finally, you know what, let's just add all the coffee machines. If I keep both of them on the menu, like so, people should order both. I just have the orders completely randomized, so let's wait for them to order again. Oh, let me find their crayon for them real quick. Here you go. Now order some coffee, please. Why are they all ordering Americanos? Let me just try again. I don't understand why it wouldn't work. Thank you. I was losing my mind. Okay, it works. I'm gonna switch back to working on editing the cafe. So moving your furniture around and all that. Because I have a couple very important basic functionality that you need for editing the cafe that I haven't built yet. I'm really putting in effort to like plan out what I'm gonna code before I do it because it really does help a lot for me. And even though I am quite a scribbler, I like using my notebooks a lot. I do find myself rushing a lot of the time and I just want to like skip the steps, but it always ends up with me having a bigger headache once I get to coding. I thought of like 2 different ways that I could possibly go about this. I think the second way is probably more straightforward, so I'll be going with that. I was gonna define a new enum for rotations, but I forgot that I already made one. I forgot about it, but I actually use it for this mechanic for rotating my scene. Okay, so it should work now, right? Yes, it does. is. It's kind of hard to tell because the front and back look the same, but yay. At some point I need to make like a furniture and equipment class so that I stop copy pasting code and then having to update it everywhere. Let's see that everything works properly when I save the game. If I save it like this, go back, rotate it again, and then revert. Nice. It saved the rotation. It works. Easy peasy. See, that was so quick and painless because I planned it out on paper beforehand. I need to do more of that. It's such a simple step. Why don't I do it more? And now, how do we add support for bigger furniture? Oh, I'm intimidated. This task is inciting fear within me. So I'm running out of space here in this notebook, so I'm going to use this corner. Basically, first off, I want to give my furniture items a property that tells us what dimensions the furniture is in terms of like number of squares on the grid that it takes up. And then number two, based on the dimensions, I want to generate some kind of like matrix, basically a way to know which other cells in the grid to activate when you're hovering over one cell. For example, if the furniture is 3 by 3, then when I hover over this square in the grid, I want to highlight all these other cells all around it. But if it's a 2 by 2 furniture, then maybe I'll do something like that. I'll highlight the cells in this kind of formation instead, and hopefully I'll be able to activate the cells in the grid based on the matrix. For now, I'm going to focus on step 1 and 2. I have a bit of a conundrum. I opened up my Godot project today and I get this. The dreaded corrupted message. Well, first off, I'm gonna have to open this file in a different editor because Godot will not open it for me because it's corrupt. So I fixed the issue and everything runs fine now, but I had to spend like quite a bit of time just trying to understand why that happened in the first place. And I think I figured it out. Spoiler alert, turns out later that I had not in fact figured it out. That was quite the detour. Didn't expect that to happen. But now I can finally pick up where I left off yesterday with implementing moving around big pieces of furniture. So I'm using my counter over here as my guinea pig. Basically my idea is that, let's say I'm holding a piece of furniture. I'm holding this counter, and while I'm holding this, I'm hovering over a cell in the grid, so one of these blue squares. And these two arrays, they tell me which cells to the left and right and to the top and bottom of the cell that I'm hovering over that this piece of furniture is going to occupy. So first thing I need to do is my cells in the grid, they need to be able to tell me where they are on the grid. I think it'll be as simple as this. I'm already looping through X and Y to create the grid in the first place. So I'll just pass those two values into my grid cell. I broke my game like a million times to try and make this work, but alas, it works. And then if you go too close to the edge of the grid, it turns red. Wow. It was painful to get this to work. Oh my god. I can also change the dimensions. For example, now it's at 2 by 1, and there you go. Amazing. There's still a lot for me to get done to round out the edges, but my brain feels pretty fried and I don't want to burn myself out. I left myself a little note at the bottom of my task page because I have a bad memory, so I'm not going to remember where I left off otherwise. Yesterday, I took a little break from game dev. I made myself some red velvet cookies for the first time instead, which were surprisingly delicious. And I also watched Mean Girls again. I was just feeling very girly pop. So now that I'm all rested up, it's time to get back into finishing up this current task. At least that's what I had planned to get done that day, but my game decided to break on me another several times. And so I ended up just spending all day trying to figure out why. What is all this? And for those of you that were worried for me last video and were like, I hope Ruby learned how to use version control. I did. I've been git committing all my changes, so I hope you're proud of me. But for this instance, I didn't use my version control powers to revert back because I wanted to figure out the root of the issue. And this time, thankfully, I actually did. So I believe that this is the problem. So when we're loading up the furniture templates class, we try to load test scene. And in order to load the test scene, we need to load the grid. And in order to load the grid, we need to reference furniture templates. So I think that's where the cycle was. I keep running into this issue everywhere with the preloads. I don't realize that there's a cyclical dependency like this. So I'm considering rewriting a lot of my code that uses these like template classes and try to reference the pack scenes in a different way. I'll just do file paths dot furniture. Why doesn't it recognize file paths? Oh, I forgot to save. Silly me. I'm going to load this. That fixes it. Alright, it's kind of late now, so I'm not going to be able to make much more progress today, but let me just try to return the game to a usable state. So the weird thing is moving it quickly highlights the cells, but moving slowly, it doesn't work. What the hell? All right, everything is working as expected now. 'Twas a journey. Today ended up being a very scuffed day. I couldn't really get to as much as I wanted to because I was busy breaking and fixing my game. Moral of the story, I'm never preloading a file again. That, or rather, I'll be very careful next time I consider preloading a file because I keep breaking my game that way. I feel like I'm finally getting to a point with my game where when something doesn't work, it's a little harder now to figure out why, because the problem can be a little bit more nested now, which is fun. At least I was able to address the note that I left for myself, so I got something done. But honestly, I'm feeling a little bit frustrated with how slowly implementing this feature is going. But that's just how it is, man. I'm just a noob, so I should be a little more patient with myself. I want to pause for a moment and change how I'm doing my saving and loading save data for my game. I had watched this great video that gives an overview for a few popular options for saving your game data in Godot, and I had chosen to go with resources for now because it seemed pretty intuitive, at least for me, someone who has no experience creating like save files. And it has been pretty convenient to use. However, there is a security concern because the thing is you can inject code into resources, which means that, let's say a player downloads a save from the internet, somebody could have injected some malicious code into that save file and now they're f***ed. I don't really know how much people would be like sharing and downloading saves of my game from the internet, but like I still don't feel good about that being a possibility. There were two main options to consider as an alternative for my save format, JSONs and dictionaries, and I decided to go with the latter because although JSONs are readable, and that's nice, dictionaries seem to be a bit more code-friendly in that a lot of the data types like vectors that I use are all supported, and it seems efficient in terms of like file size and stuff. Converting the save file types was honestly super straightforward. Basically all I did was convert all of these exported variables into keys in the dictionary, so it was pretty straightforward. And now we can move on to working on the shop, which is exciting. All right, so I have a vision. I want the shop to like exist physically. Okay, so I only have the floor right now, but my idea is that I show the furniture that's on display that day in the shop. It comes up here. You can see it in 3D. It's not just like a 2D menu. The reason why I want to make it 3D is because, one, I just think it'll be delightful. The idea just sparks joy in me. But two, there is like a practical reason, which is that I think it'll be useful for the player to like physically see what a piece of furniture looks like the dimensions and everything, so that they can make a more informed purchase. It'll take a bit more work than just doing all this in 2D with just UI and pictures. But I don't know, I want to do it. I set up my store scene. I wrote some code to add the furniture into the scene. And I also have this store manager that helps to get the store all set up and running when I switch the scene over to the store. And all this other code that's for this pop-up that is for purchasing an item when you click on it. I have these like manager nodes and then like UI nodes and then these 3D nodes which actually contain all the furniture and stuff in the world. But I think I'll eventually take a sweep and change how I'm organizing all the code here. It's just starting to be a little bit clunky. But anyways, I haven't tested the stuff that I built for the store yet, so let's do that together. This first test did not go well. I broke the game. I had a suspicion that the problem had to do with the new way that I was saving data. So I took a look at the new save file, and even though most of it is not very readable for humans, I could work out enough to confirm that there seemed to be something weird going on. Okay, back to the docs we go. Once I resolved what was wrong with the save files, are you happy now, Godot? I was able to finish up adding the store into my game. The next task that I have queued up for myself is building out the recipe shop. Now, unlike with the furniture shop, I don't really have like a super clear vision of what I want the recipe shop to look like. So I'm just gonna put something together for now, just really a placeholder, and I'll flesh out the vision as I go. This is what I came up with for the recipe shop for now. Very simple. Imagine there's a counter of some sort here and a NPC that is the shopkeeper, and then just have some kind of UI that shows the recipes that you can unlock. Since I now had experience building shop mechanics for the furniture store, I was able to build the recipe shop pretty quickly. And with that part of the puzzle added in, my game now had a place for every major part of the game flow. A place for you to design your cafe, a place for you to run it and serve customers and earn money, and then a place for you to spend that money on new furniture and recipes for your cafe and for your customers. Obviously, this is just the beginning for my game, and every part of it right now is just a vague semblance of what the idea for it is, but it still feels really good because it feels like I've reached my first checkpoint. Looking back, I'm so glad that I didn't tunnel vision into completely fleshing out the day part of my game and instead focused on getting each part of the game at least functioning. Because one of my worries as a beginner was that I'll build out completely one part of the game only to find out that the gears don't fit into all the rest of the game. But now I have all the major gears in place and they are running. Also, a huge thank you to all the game devs that have been sharing your advice in the comments below. I really feel that y'all help nudge me in the right direction, so thank you. And thank you to everyone for watching. Thank you so much for lending me a piece of your time. Hope you guys take care. Until next time. Bye!